game of the year, more like snooze fest of the year in the Serie A between Milan and Juventus. This week, again, episode 304 of the Calcio Guys podcast. So thank you all for tuning in. We have a recurring guest, the one, the only Martino Puccio from That Milan Podcast. Martino, I know it's been doom and gloom with Milan, but how you doing, Bello?
I'm doing well. Shit. Well, what? Italy missed the World Cup again. You guys got screwed because of that, because you live north of the border. So listen, man, life is fine outside of that. It's just, best days at Calcio were when we were 12. So what could you say at that point? Not for Johnny, obviously, because of Napoli. Maybe for Roma, but yeah, pretty good.
Well, first off, thank you again for taking the time, Martino. It's always a pleasure. And for everybody tuning in, you can follow us on all social media platforms at The Calcio Guys. And for all audio versions of the podcast, the same as well. The Calcio Guys podcast, anywhere you find your podcast. And subscribe on YouTube for all video content of the podcast. Martino, we were talking a bit off air before coming in here. The big match of the weekend in Serie A, right? Milan-Juve, which is supposed to be, obviously a bigger match and have a bit more of implications towards it. Just again, I know how the season's gone. We've spoken before. We know how each other think of Milan. Just your thoughts of before the match and how the match panned out. We're gonna break it down. So obviously a frustrating 0-0 result, snooze fest as we like to call it. But just your thoughts. Anything to take out of the match that was somewhat positive, or was it all doom and gloom for you?
I mean, listen, when you're at this point in the season and you're basically literally your only objectives top 4 at this point, you don't really care too much about play style. I think that's kind of out of the window with a handful of matches left, literally. Going into this, I was just, with our form, with how Juve have been playing, and I've seen I watch like every big team's matches, right? Like it's just what I enjoy doing on a level. This Juve is pretty good under Spalletti. They're not bad offensively. They move things. Milan caught a break with Yildiz being out. Like, let's just call it what it is. Him coming off the bench is huge. But I also could say for Juve, they're fortunate we have Allegri, right? In this fixture, I thought that Milan would be okay just because every time they play a top side this season, they step up. And that's largely because more of the top sides play a bit more modern, even though SerieA is not that. They're able to absorb more. The only time that you kind of don't see that was the away Napoli match. And I thought, Spalletti's Juve is exposed at the back. We've seen them play terribly defensively. I thought, hey, Milan on a counter, which they've done pretty well. Rafa looks a little bit healthier, but he's never going to be fully healthy. He's going to get a surgery. I thought it was fine. Bartesaghi didn't make a run that Teo Hernandez always does, and I think everyone kind of highlighted that, so we knew that. And he was just getting torched in general, right? Roller coaster of a 20-year-old, 19-year-old kid in Serie A. Some really good moments, some really bad ones. There was that, and then obviously Salamaker sitting the crossbar. Milan had their opportunities. It wasn't as dull as the usual 0-0s. There's been 4 of the past 5 Serie A matchups between these two, or 0-0.
Yes,
it's ridiculous.
It's been bad.
And anyways, Juve, like your boy Jonathan David, man, I kind of feel bad. It just, this guy's like the lights are too bright for him in that sort of moment. He seemed weak too. I don't think, obviously, the level of physicality is showing between Liga and what Serie A is. In that moment, you got to be a lot stronger than that or shoot sooner. For me with Juve, I wasn't ever really scared of them. I was really more scared of Milan doing their usual shooting themselves in the foot. And that's only primarily because of Yildiz. No Yildiz completely changes this. And I thought Milan's midfield was much better head to head. I think Locatelli in this one, and final point before I let you guys talk, is Locatelli was pretty much of a brute force this game. I thought he was lucky he didn't get sent off. There were multiple. That's fine if those fouls existed in 2002, but it's 2026. All of those are yellow card offenses today. I just want the consistency of it. We don't see that. He ruins Modric's face and the season for him. And Juve, like this is why they're such a funny club, where they go and post like a video, like a heart video of like Locatelli consoling Modric for just ending his season for a shit challenge. in the air. It's like, oh, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Like we didn't have objectives to make. We're so happy our former youth product did this. But it is what it is. Better result for Milan than Juve, easily. I think this one might hurt Juve potentially, but there's a huge matchup in favor for both of these clubs this weekend with Como Napoli.
Well, that was my next thing that you brought up, and I guess I'll keep it as a smooth transition since we're talking about Modric. He needs to do facial reconstructions. No, it was
he had it already, right?
But he's out to the end. But he's out to the end of the season.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
With you guys trying to maintain that position in top 4, how big of a blow do you think it is for the midfield? Because he has been playing phenomenally for Milan.
Bro, the funny thing is, you asked that question about a 40-year-old, and I can't give you an answer because Adriano will tell you this, is that the guy started every game.
Yeah.
And he barely got subbed. And it wasn't warranted to sub him, really. So, and Allegri on top of it, married to this 3-5-2, you're really limited to 3 midfielders. The way he sees Arden Yashari, and it's not like I necessarily agree because that's not how he was deployed at Club Brugge, but he sees him as the 6, as the regista behind him. Now, again, that's a 40 million euro signing that's kind of not played much. That's going to have to step up in place of him. He looked fine in the 10 minutes, but very much like a lot of these substitutes, they don't get too much time to see what they fully are. Another start was the Lazio one, and we know Milan in general, that was one of their worst performances of the season, just how everyone looked. So it's kind of hard to take away from that. And then the only other real match that we have in Serie A is Lecce, where he was really good in, but it's Lecce. So I would like to think AC Milan up 6 points in this race with tiebreakers can make top 4, and facing Sassuolo, Genoa, Atalanta, and then I believe Cagliari on the final day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where Adriano will know this, if you have that fear of PTSD, you're worried. But then you're you slap yourself across the face and say, no, we're AC Milan. Anything less than the top 4 with a 6-point lead is unacceptable.
Yeah.
Even though the sad part is we probably wouldn't be that surprised if something like that happened, right?
Yeah.
We'd just be incredibly disappointed. Were we surprised Italy missed the 3rd straight World Cup? No, probably most people weren't. But the feeling is still there. That's sentiment. So, bro, I don't know. It's difficult to say. We don't know enough about Yashari in this setup with these players, with his limited time off the injury. Can you replace Modric? Because Modric was legitimately one of the best in Serie A. It wasn't this he's playing well for Milan as opposed to some other players. To me, it's just it's a larger conversation to be had about the club, but I won't get into that just yet. They should be fine, man. But then again,
no, listen, I think you touched upon it now, and I obviously saw what you guys posted on your end about Yashari. It's a shame that it has to come down to the last 4 matches, and for a 40-year-old Modric to get hurt, for him to get some playing time. It just seems to be that what it is, and Allegri's stubbornness, I think, is what really hinders a lot of these players. I do find Yashari, I would hope can produce in these last 4 games, just to go off on a good foot and start fresh next year. The thing that kind of is for me that sucks is the Modric injury, out for the season, and then there's the thoughts, and everybody's thinking, is that the last of Luka Modric at Milan? Is that the last action that we're going to see of a 40-year-old class player of Modric's stature in a Milan shirt? And it's a real thought. It's a real thing. So, Martino, I just want to ask you, is that the end of Modric at Milan? Because if you read into what the reports are and you see what is circulating around the media, he wants a competitive Milan. I think most Milan fans do, right? And all the checklist of things. Is it realistic to see Modric in a Milan shirt next season again?
I think it's realistic. Yeah. A certainty would be different, right? But
sure,
it's really just, I guess, his sentiments. He mentioned it when he signed that he thinks he could still play a couple more years. It's just on how he feels. I mean, he's playing great. He had moments where he's a little bit out of form, but this. It wasn't a massive drop off at any point. What I was saying in the clip in the most recent episode was that, he could still come back and make an impact. I'm not saying start every single Serie A match for for next year, but he's clearly capable of playing in multiple. And then to your point, which I also was making on the pod, was that these 4 games is a lot to learn about a player with something on the line with Yashadi. You at least have to get a sense within those 4 matches. Maybe he does or doesn't start all 4, but there's going to be enough opportunity for him to prove that, like, okay, you come back in, we're actually fine about that Regista spot. Because, like, if you really think about it, this is like a doomsday scenario, which a lot of Milan fans could probably go to, is that, say Yashadi is not good. Like, he's bad, like really bad and like unplayable, to your other Regista's 40. Then even if he does come back and then you just flopped again on a 40 million euro signing, what do you do? So I think it's actually a lot more crucial in that regard. I don't think they're going to dump Yashadi in any degree, but when you have this situation that Milan's in with the squad itself, which is part of why I think Allegri leaves you like little footnotes or Easter eggs in his press conferences of how, like, he technically doesn't want to do the 3-5-2, but he feels like he has to because that is the best avenue to get points. And playing a 4-3-3, as we saw over however many games, you don't have fullbacks, you don't have the center backs for it. The midfield can only do so much. We had our worst defense last year. He's just sort of like, to get top 4 and what you want, and this is management's fault, we're going to have to do this. And now it's also forcing, in my opinion, to put Yashadi out of position because he's not naturally this. It puts like someone like Ricci, who didn't even play that much, for 25 million as well. Like, right, we're talking near 70 million for 2 players who didn't get that many minutes in Serie A for a side once a season. It's just, that's the kind of stuff that you're like, how many other clubs are doing that or can afford to do that? This is why I just hate everything about what they're doing for the most part. So it's like you worry about Modric staying, and the question comes back to, are they even competent enough? Like, what are we fielding next year that I feel good about myself turning 41, that we have an opportunity to win something? We fell short pretty much everywhere, far. Coppa Italia was a disgrace.
Yeah.
Supercoppa was one and done, or whatever. It doesn't matter, right? And then 10 plus points off the top yet again for the 4th straight year. Actually, it might be, depending on how it finishes out, they might be 15 plus points off the top for the 4th or 5th straight year. How is that ever respectable in any regard? It isn't. And I'm sorry I'm ranting about it, but it's so effing dumb that I have to be put in a situation where I have to ask that question. It should be a no-brainer that Modric is staying. But the fact that they continue to do this, and the people I talk to that have like contacts at the club, they're telling me like, not everyone is on the same page. It is a big issue that continues to happen. It's a revolving door of not only players but people in management. That's unsustainable. Like, you cannot do that. So and you see it reflected in the like, shouldn't this have been done if both parties, just the final thing, if both parties loved each other so much, we're so deep into this, nearly on May 1st, they both haven't come to an agreement that he's definitely playing next year. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? There are legitimate question marks from the player. So if the player is having that many question marks for one more season, that shows a disconnect and dysfunction, in my opinion. Look at the actions, because there's a lack of them. So that kind of tells you a lot of things, especially with, and again, just final point, but because this shit matters, is that there is technically full ownership now with Redbird. There's like complete control. There's no like Elliot looming in the background that a lot of people theorize have been handcuffing Cardinale to an extent. I don't give him that excuse, but that's what people are like, well, he wanted to do this, but then the board and Elliot said that, and I was like, all right,
yeah, that's a fancy way of saying that you're not doing your job.
He refinanced the loan again, so like or changed the loan to a different vendor, but that's kind of the whole thing. So in a long way, maybe he stays.
Let's hope, fingers crossed.
Well, like another thing that you brought up, which I was going to get to eventually, is the formation. It hasn't been even though they probably had like a decent start, it hasn't been too fruitful for Leao and Pulisic. Like I feel like
Right.
they're suffering because of the formation that they're in. Do you think that this is probably leading towards a scenario where I know Leao's got like was it 150, 175 million release cost?
175 is the
release clause. Yeah. So obviously, not. I don't think a team's ever going to come close to that for him, and it's hurting his stock. And obviously it's creating a bit of I don't want to say that it is creating tension, but you could feel that maybe there probably is a little bit of disarray between them. Do you think Leao kind of forces Milan's hand at some point in the next season or two, or do you think Leao still keeps to put up with like
the only way this guy wants out is if he pushes it. Otherwise, it's the owners who are going to push him out. There's not this guy at this point. He could have left, could have been done, right? Like now, again, it's like multiple times. There's like the Allegri factor, and people are theorizing things. I don't think that they're going to get rid of him. I don't think it makes sense. The reports of 40 million are also bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
What could happen and what is definitely possible, however, is another Tonali situation where they did not expect to get an offer like that of Tonali from Newcastle. And when Tonali gets wind of like they are willing to accept that, he's going to open it up and be like, all right, fine. You want to be like that? I'll leave. That's what happens, right? You get rid of Maldini. I don't care. There's people who are pushing them out for certain reasons. If Rafa, like, they're only going to be like presenting it to him if a club like Manchester United, in my opinion, this is the only place I think he would go. Barcelona, there's no chance that they could afford it, I think. So for Rafa, it would be like north of 70 or 80 million with like the 2 years remaining on his contract. And to them, that would suffice, my guess. But they would have to be blown away from it. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think they will offer that. I don't think Man United should offer that anyways. I think Leao is more of a final piece for a really good club instead of just the guy for the revolution at this point in his career. I just don't think he can, especially not in the Prem. He doesn't work hard enough off the ball. I just don't see it happen personally, but everything is on the table with this management. I don't think he'll push out just because of these tactics. I think what Allegri is saying, and I don't know if you want me to expand on it, is that like he needs the players to play another system if he's going to do that. He's not going to change things when you're still giving him the same tools, and you see a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1 last year, and you're conceding more goals than anybody, bringing back the same players. It doesn't matter. You need to get the proper players, right? Because say in a 4-3-3, perfect world, right? Say it is Santi as your striker or even Nkunku. The best for your attack, the best formation for your attack, it's indisputable. It's a 3-man attack with the two wingers you have. No one's arguing that. However, how much does the rest of the 11 suffer? And it's pretty substantial because I think all the center backs that we have are not really good in a back four. I think the players that they have to complement them are not great. Pavlovic is only really good in a back three. We saw how much he struggles in a back four. They don't have fullbacks, guys. They just don't. Like I like Bartezaghi. Kid might have some potential. He's still really young. I'm not going into next season seeing the inconsistencies that he had, being like, oh yeah, back four. Estupinian sucks. Salamakers is not a right back. I like Athakame going forward. He is still not somebody who could defend or works hard enough off the ball or wins enough balls to justify him being the main guy. And then again, he also just wouldn't have a backup. So you're talking about technically 2 to 3 fullbacks, and you're only going to keep one or sell one. Sorry. This is like the squad issue. So then you're kind of left to be like, okay, wing back, all these guys can kind of play those positions. That's what we have to rock with. I also think like back four, like Coney De Winter's like okay, but you're not gonna have like Coney De Winter and Gabia. Like, what are you winning with that? What are you doing with that? That's, you know what I mean? And then your midfield three is like, it's a good midfield, but it's a 40-year-old. Rabiot's awesome, and then Fofana, like he's good in 10-15 minute patches maybe, and then he's like his brain shuts off sometimes. And then the depth is like he doesn't sub anyone on. So it's like this is just like a badly constructed team. And I don't think that if they show signs of willing to go in that direction of what Tade and what Allegri want, just don't be surprised if you see anyone leave. Is just my point, is that there's not this sense of being on the same page, right? And I know this might be ranting a little bit, but here's the thing, and Adriana, you would know this. If you're Redbird and they came in and they told us straight up to all these fans, okay, we saw where this Maldini project was going. It was great, but it's unsustainable with the way he does business in the transfer market, right? Because he lets players leave for free. We can't inject capital all the time. We have to sell players to buy. And it's AC Milan. That's not really acceptable, but at least I'm being transparent with you, right? So I'm not lying, which is something Redbird have done. They then go and unceremoniously sack all these people that helped them out, and then they don't have directors. So to run the club the modern way, right? They want to do algorithms are just like funny. I know Johnny knows this. Like people just don't like, they overcomplicate it. They think it's like they bring out the Mourinho stats quote, and it's just like, no, that's not what it means. It's just in a way to explain your eye test, but forget it. You say we do what Atalanta do. We have a clear-cut project we want to build from the ground up, but we can only do that if we make top 4, which means we have to compete, and to compete, we have to spend money, but we want to do that. We don't want to do that. Let's bring in Allegri because we weren't good at picking and finding a manager to help and develop players over the course of time, right? If you hire Allegri, technically you hire him to win something. Do we think he's capable of still doing that? No, not necessarily with his antiquated styles, but technically that hire is to win something. If you hire a Palladino, you know what you're getting. This is a project. You are trying to build something. So when Redbird is going in the transfer market and buying players for a Palladino type project and giving it to Allegri, it's going to backfire because he doesn't want those players, because it's no guarantee. You never played here. You don't speak the language. You don't really have much professional experience. Adriana, how many times have we seen David Odogu? Nearly 10 million euro, right? Athakame, backup. Ricci, back. All these guys, they don't make sense. Tactically, they don't make sense. Christopher Nkunku, he's a number 10, if anything, or a second striker. Where are we playing him? I don't know. The manager literally says, I don't know. I have to figure it out. So that, to me, again, actions, comments that we listen and hear from these people, we say to ourselves, okay, that doesn't sound like a club that's on the same page from everywhere. And I can tell you once again that it doesn't matter if you agree with Allegri, Tade, Forlani in this scenario, right? That's besides the point. I know for a fact from people I talk to, they're not all on the same page. And my problem is, once again, what are we doing here? You weren't on the same page with Maldini, so you fire him. But then you're not on the same page as Paulo Fonseca, Conceição. What do they all say? These people all say the same things when they leave. And what's the one common denominator? Okay? I say it every week. We have to see the problem at this point, and he's likely getting an extension, from what I understand, and he's not leaving anywhere. That's the problem, is that you had a finance guy take over a club with no experience in this. He negotiated a couple of deals with Elliott when he was on the board for them, with the club when Redbird kind of took over, where like Elliott was still in charge, right? That's the extent of that. Adriano, you know this. We did not have a director.
No sporting director for a whole year. A whole year.
We promoted a scout from within that's around our age, which is, whatever. We could say young overall. That's not very experienced in the executive scout world. If you're in your 30s being a director at a major club like that, you better be the genius everyone proclaims you to be. Moncada is not that. He's a better scout, right? There's a difference between, I'm bringing you a list of movies and then Johnny curates and picks the movies. Right? If I were to pick the movie, like he presented the players to Maldini, he said, okay, I think this guy's good, this guy's good, this guy's good, this guy's good. Maldini and Masada would pick and talk to each other like, okay, this guy would be perfect for the squad, right? That's why guys like Rade Krunic were so good, because he knew he could fit them in a specific position or role within the team that makes sense. They go and buy Christopher Nkunku for near record money, and they don't know what to do with him. And they're supposed to be smart financial people. No, you're not. Like that's financially moronic with your holes that you have and the formation that you knew the manager was running. And you said, oh, let me go get a Ferrari when my house is on fire. Like that, what are we doing here? It's just stupidity. I'm ranting, but this is like, there is no simple answer to Johnny's question because it goes back to all of those things. And that's the problem and why I'm tired of like watching every Sunday, because it's like he could sub on whoever could play whatever. I know who's still in charge when the game ends. And I don't think that changes my thoughts on the direction, because how could it?
Yeah, because it feels like it's a bunch of like square pieces trying to fit into a round hole. You know, it's like you could just like shove it in there and get some results. But and look, given what he's trying to do, I mean, it does suck that you obviously want to compete for the Scudetto, but third place is still, it's, mind you, it's Serie A. I know we have our qualms about it and stuff. But I'm curious because like you did mention that. Why not go for that lethal front three? Because like we all know how Leao can excel on the left side. Pulisic is a really good winger too. Like why? Like besides, okay, I guess because you don't like the fullbacks, but like I'm stupid probably. But like
they got exposed when they did it. Udinese smacked them 3-0. But he was also doing it wrong again. He put Leao as striker and started Salamakers and Pulisic wide.
Yeah.
The forwards have been injured too. Okay. Rafa and Pulisic have not been healthy. That's part of it. The strikers have 1 goal combined. Like nobody should ever be glossing over that statistic for AC Milan. The strikers, the actual strikers for this club have 1 goal in the league.
Yeah. Okay.
No, get the like, bro. No. That's never acceptable in any year. I don't care.
No, I agree.
If it was like 2015, that's not acceptable. If it's 2026, how does that happen? How do you get into a point where that's like even a statistic that you read off? There's every week the list gets longer of the amount of days in between the goals scored per player and the attack.
Yeah. What's it at 57 now or something? I saw.
It's dysfunctional. There's players out of position. There's players injured.
Per player. What is it? Oh, like between like
Pulisic, for example, hasn't scored since December 28th. That's
20. Oh, okay, that's what you mean by that. I thought you meant from one different player scoring from another one.
Yeah.
No. That's what I thought.
Calendar day. Santi Jimenez is almost on a full calendar year.
Oh my god.
Full Krug.
Full Krug has 1 goal. That's the guy that they get in January. That's a loan with option. And again, to bring up to the point of some people that I did on the podcast and why I think Santi Jimenez is gone, is that you have your 30+ million euro signing, Mexican 25-year-old versus your German 33-year-old who's a flop at West Ham and is also definitely leaving in June. You have a substitute to make when you're playing counter-attacking football against Juventus and you sub on the slow German. What does that say about? We've all played sports here, right?
Yeah.
What does that say when the coach picks somebody else in that moment? Either coach is an idiot, or the coach doesn't like you or think you're good. So
it's not faith in you.
Okay, you figure it out yourself. Like that's how low they think of the striker in Santi.
I just think so.
Tade's literally saying we might sell him to Roma. We don't know yet. We might swap with Dobiak. Before they kicked off against Lecce, in a game he was starting, the director is saying that. What little faith you have, right? They don't. Which is also another problem because you're killing confidence. Even if you don't think he's good, it doesn't help. That's only going to compound the issues. But this is the stupidity I'm talking about.
And what good does it do to the player anyways? Like to hear that after the fact, it's like, great, management doesn't have any faith in me. So it's like, You're
the teacher, right? Yeah. Negative reinforcement does not work. No matter how many like stupid sports movies you see, it does not work. Mentally berating people does not help. So, not that they're berating the guy, but
and all it does is that it creates resentment and it creates like the only good case scenario from that is the player might start excelling so that they can get themselves the fuck out of there. You know what I'm trying to say? They're not going to be excelling for you anymore. They're going to be excelling for themselves just to get themselves out of there. And then just, thank you, ciao, bye. I'm out of here. I'm going to go bring my success elsewhere.
And these are people who want to be here too. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
This guy
is Milan. It's Milan.
I know, but he's even a fan though, Johnny. Like that's the thing. Like it's just good or bad. It's the environment. There's nothing that, in my opinion, that you feel good. Nothing would be a bit much. but there's very little to feel good about moving forward because I don't care like in the short term. Oh, cool. Like the thing that I hate, Adriano, I know you hate it because we just talked about it before. A top 4 mandate is loser shit. It's
God.
loser shit.
Don't get me started.
I don't care like if you end up coming in second or third. I don't want to hear you say what your goal is. Everyone's goal, even the New York Mets goal every year is to win the World Series. They don't go in saying, let's win the wild card, right?
Yeah.
They go in trying to win something. If Milan are going in there with that type of mentality, and I cannot effing stand the people that say, oh, well, they were 8th last year. We should be happy about this. No, the F you shouldn't. No, you shouldn't. Because you want to know why? They shouldn't be in 8th place to begin with. Because they were in 1st before that, and they won. They were also in a Champions League semifinal. They were progressing in that. They were qualifying every single year until you started doing things differently. You started doing things differently. Everything got worse. Literally everything across the board. And then you want to be accepting of that. This is how you get gaslit by ownership. This is an abusive relationship. Don't feel good about making top 4. You shouldn't. That should be a standard. Juve fans should feel the same, Inter fans and Milan fans, and it could fluctuate with the other clubs. But there should never be this scenario in which you're being, oh, well, we came such a long way from last year. Then why were we there to begin with? Why don't you talk about the year prior when you were 2nd and then you went to 8th? That's a huge problem. That's a negative. I'm not going to feel happy about getting back to the place that I was already at. I shouldn't. Because why did we leave? That's the problem. To get to that point last year, which is easily the most embarrassing of my fandom, by far. And there were, because I've said this, I think we probably talked about it last year. If I know you're going to suck, that's fine. I can live with it. Like, I know what the reality is. They should never suck. And not when they arrogantly fire people that were good. That's where I really get annoyed. 2015-16 Milan, they suck. Like, there was nothing we could do. Like, it was over. Like, it was done. This shouldn't, you can't be boasting about record revenues and missing Europe. Sorry. I don't want to hear it. We've been waiting patiently for 15 years. Juve fans got their turn. And I know, like, I say this to a Napoli Roma fan, but I get it. But like, it's true. But it's different standards. Like, I don't get angry like at the Jets. Like, I know they're the Jets. Like, they're losers. Like, what? I can't do anything. This shouldn't be this shit. I'm sick of it. It's 15 years. How many years do we have to see? Oh, well, they haven't had a 15 goal scorer in the league. 50. Yeah, I know. It's bad. 20. So you know when the last time we had a 20 goal scorer in the league, Adriano? Do you know the year and the player?
Fuck. Off the top of my head.
You shouldn't even have to think, by the way. That's how bad it is, but
you got me.
You don't even know.
People, right? No,
it's Zlatan. 28 goals in 2011,
2011, yeah, of course, yes.
Because that one was like incredible, and then we
I'm sorry. You got me.
No, that's the last time. And we say, 2012, 14 years. Easily going to be 15.
Yeah, and then 16.
Decade and a half.
Yeah.
I have to go back and check the stats, which a lot of people don't like. I can't remember that long of an absence of a 20-goal scorer in the league for me. Probably when like everyone would score like 2 goals in a year or something, but it's
it's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. Another point that you kind of, I know you kind of went on a bit of a tangent there, but
sorry,
no, for sure. Like we love it, but we spoke about Leao. I think it's only right to speak about the other forward in Pulisic, because I feel, listen, do they have their inconsistencies? Sure. Do I feel for them because they're put in the wrong position and everybody expects them to produce and they don't? I do a bit, I'll be honest. But it's been since December, like you said, Martino, 2026 has been atrocious for your boy Christian Pulisic, right? The American. And this is a player I like and I want to see do well. It just hasn't gone his way. Again, does that bode to the formation? Does that bode to the girlfriend thing off the pitch? Like, what's going on with Christian Pulisic?
Listen, I don't want to hear the girlfriend thing when...
Me neither, but
I know
it's out there.
I feel bad for him if he's going through that. Like we're human, right? Like we're
For sure.
It's to get exposed like that, and then the ex has to apologize publicly.
Yeah, it's fucked
for
up.
like kind of alleging that he did something when he didn't is, fucked up. Excuse me. No pun intended there. So like for that, it's just I don't care. Formationally, yeah, they both suffer. I make the same excuse for Leao and him because the reality is it's true.
It is.
These are not there like this isn't FIFA.
No.
Sorry.
They're not number 9s.
The injury thing, the guy's been healthy. He's been playing. And there's something that Santangelo and I always try to say is if you're out there, you're healthy, you're wearing the colors, you get judged. You're healthy enough and good enough to play. We have to judge you based off of what we see. Sure, are there nuances to it, your position that you're in, how you're being fielded, like the players around you. Yes, all matters. All that stuff matters. We saw him get an assist when he was put out wide. I think it was a Torino match, right? He ends up doing better, like clearly moving better. One that he just doesn't like Marco. We had me and Marco on, another good Canadian friend. He was just like, why not a 3-4-3? Something like tinker with something. But the guy just refuses to sacrifice. I get it. But like it's at some point you got to get results. Like I post about Camarda having goals. Like, dude, like Che Adams gets goals all the time for Torino. Like Simeone, same thing. Like I see players at like all these other clubs and stuff. Like they get goals, bro. Like nobody is scoring. Adrien Rabiot still has the most goal contributions, I think, in 2026 for a Milan player. Okay, it's a good and bad thing. It's great. Rabiot's a great signing. Holy shit, man! Rabiot's our leading goal contributor for 2026. Crazy. Shout out to AJ, by the way. But like it's. Bro, like it's just bad. There's no fluidity to it, and the counterattacking side of things also don't look good when it's like the two of them. Christian can't ball carry that far. I don't think he can. I think he's like within like the offensive half, probably, right? But Leao is like a different monster. The same goes for Teo, like where they can go on these runs. Pulisic is a smaller guy by stature, so he's more of a technical player. You put a player like that out of position, off-field issues, injuries. I mean, it's a recipe for disaster. And there is, like, you guys know it to an extent, there's a massive amount of pressure on this guy to perform in the World Cup this summer.
Absolutely.
There are very few players in that tournament, whether, like, it's not about a quality thing. It's really just, like, a pressure side of things, right? Like, I'm sure there's L3 players that have a lot of pressure. I don't think there's much pressure for Canadian play. There's going to be pressure, but I don't think there's like as much disdain between the Canadian soccer fans and the players as there is with the US soccer fans and the US players, because there is just an entire social disconnect in the country itself. So who he likes and who he dances after when he scores his goals, that kind of shit matters, right? Because that alienates a large portion of the fans. And when you do that, your margin for error becomes smaller. And when that happens, the pressure magnifies and grows. And I think that when Pulisic is, in this moment that he's in his career, maybe it's one goal that turns it around. Maybe it's just like the beginning of the end of like what his prime is. I don't know. But this right now is a very delicate headspace. And Allegri's saying the same thing. He's a very emotional guy. He's harsh on himself. Yeah. Because what happened at the start of the year? Incredible conversion rate. It was a 50% conversion rate. Completely unsustainable. You can't score every other shot. Mm-hmm. Then he got some bad misses, which cost us multiple games. Fiorentina,
the penalty miss
against Juve. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's just like, when I see Pulisic play, I'm not sure if you guys see or think this too. There's just like there's guys who are leaders, and that's okay, and then there's guys who are not. I think he's one of those really good players that's not a leader, and that's kind of his downfall. Because with the U.S.,
he's forced to
Weston McKennie, I would say Pulisic is clearly like the best player. Like it's not even close. Like it's total respect to some of the other guys that play in Europe and do a good job. I think McKennie's super underrated, but bro, like we know this. Like Alphonso Davies, like come on, Like that
Yeah.
guy is like here
Yeah.
and everyone else is beneath him. The way I view Pulisic is he's still up here and a lot of guys underneath. And then if they don't play well enough, like it just matters. There's like a climate thing. And I think in the back of his head, with how emotional of a guy he is, it's weighing on him because it's just that ain't the same guy. He doesn't look as, maybe it was the beard too. Like,
Yeah, I was gonna
sometimes
say
people grow a beard and you're like, okay, you look kind of good, but like, are you okay? Like,
yeah, fuck.
right?
You letting yourself go or what?
Yeah, one of those beards where you're like, Christian, it's a pretty good look, but like, brother, why?
You're letting yourself go there.
Like a depression beard, so to speak.
Yeah, but I think he looks pretty good with the beard. He should keep it. But yeah, man, they can't go into next season doing the same formation. They do that, it's over. Like honestly, like it'll blow up because all the good players that are there are going to want out, and that's just the reality of it. So I am worried to that degree, but maybe he gets a goal or something. I don't know, bro. Like he needs it. I think if they get a penalty, last thing, I think it goes to him if he starts. I think they do that just to get him on the right foot. So we'll see for this weekend.
Well, I mean, like in the case of being a leader, like, like sometimes you don't have to be the vocal guy. You can be the leader that leads by actions, and you can have somebody else be the face. And
all the guys behind you led differently.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Some led by their actions, some led with on the microphone, some, you know what I mean? Like it's
we saw Pirlo. We grew up seeing Pirlo and Gattuso, and I make this comparison all the time. I'm like, you tell me the personalities, you tell me the actions. Are they both leaders? You both come to the answer yes, and you're like, oh, so they're similar.
No, couldn't be more
opposite.
Those
guys are similar, right? So that's just like for me, like Christian is like a camaraderie kind of guy, like it's just.
Sure.
Like I'm here to support, but I'm not the guy to like pick us up by the straps and say enough of this bullshit. Like that's why I love Gattuso so much. Like I like that because I'm a nobody. I never played at any like high level, but like I'm still like the kind of person where I have to be like, yo, enough of this shit. Let's go. Like this is terrible energy, whatever you want to like call it with, because Milan come out flat often. Leao's the same type of personality. I would say too. They're not really those raw in your face guys. The best leader is like Millian. And that's also a communication issue within this team on the pitch. Simon Kjaer, I bring this up all the time, was like the last like true vocal leader in that back line. Gabi, I respect so much, but like he's not that. He's not the same like that. I think how do I put it? Matteo Gabi is like the guy you'd let marry your daughter. Like just like nice. He'll come by, bring flowers for the mom and everything. It's like a good kid, but it's not like anyone goes in there fearing for their lives going up against the guy, which is, just the reality of like the makeup of this team. So what are you gonna do?
Yeah, no, listen, it's not definitely not one thing with this Milan side, right? That we know that. Realistically, Martino, like with all that we've said and all that we've discussed, and everybody that puts out content for Milan or otherwise has probably said, do you realistically see, or what do you potentially see next season changing? What I think it's bothersome because I feel like us across the pond, Martino, like we have it in our head, like we kind of know how it should be. Right. I listen to you guys, and we've said it here on our show. I've listened to our boys Stevie and Vinny on Millian Weekly Podcast. Like we scream it from across the pond, yet over there in the motherland, it's like it's just not going through. But what will change? What needs to be changed? What do you see changing next season for Milan if this is gonna be a project that is a serious one and that can really take us to, like Modric said, to compete on all three fronts?
It's not a clear answer, unfortunately. I don't have that because I could sit here and say they're going to finally listen after their disastrous season, give Allegri money, give Tare money from the player sales, and let them do their own things. If they think that a player is worth a certain amount of money and they want to go for it and it's deemed too lucrative for Forlani, Forlani needs to concede to them and just be like, okay, let's take a risk, right? If that friction continues, people are leaving. I'm going to tell you right now, they're going to leave
sure.
because they're sold something that isn't true. And these are well-established people that aren't going to take this bullshit. They're not yes men. Allegri's not a yes man. Tade's not a yes man. I know for a fact there's disconnect on pretty much all levels. And if that continues, we've seen in the past, managers or figureheads going up against the guy in the suit, and the guy in the suit is going to win every time because he's boss at the end of the day. However, and I say this because I make a very important distinction, Jerry can go away and do whatever he wants for a couple of years. Now, if he wants to be more active and he sees up front where his money has been going and how it's been spent, sure, on the paper, right, Adriano? Oh, Milan are in the green again. They did a good job. No, you're in the green because you sold the Serie A midfielder of the season.
Yeah.
That is misleading, is the best way I could put it. Because in the green, in theory, should mean you're making so much money, you have tons of success, and you don't need to sacrifice in order to make money. If you need to sacrifice an asset so great, that doesn't mean you're in good shape. That just means you had something of value and it kept you afloat. That's essentially what happened. This isn't about, Milan made great business and no, you finished 8th. The player didn't want to stay. You weren't staying in Europe. You weren't playing in Europe, so he wanted to leave. And so now you had to sell. So what Jerry looks at there, right? The wage bill not increasing. The deals are so bad that they have to buy and sell players so quickly, right? Like Morata, how quickly they had to get rid of him, right? Adriano, 6 months. Yeah. Jimenez going 6 months. Like Nkunku, there was rumors of him leaving in January before this. So why? Can I give you an answer where they'll be in 3 months? There could be a new manager. Raffaele Palladino or Maresca could be manager in 3 months, or Thiago Motta, and I wouldn't be surprised. I'd be like, okay, yeah, well, they're insane. Allegri couldn't like that. I could see Allegri and Tare both leaving. I wouldn't be shocked. From what I know is that the CEO is staying, and that's the only constant that I know of, and that, sure, they could all say they're staying right now, and they're interested and ready to go for next season. However, Modric isn't signed. They haven't really figured out longer term plans for other players or definitively say they'll leave or not, but that's okay with a few matches left. There is nothing that I could see. I would say best case scenario out of the reality, right? Not what we want, right? Because we're go for Palestra, go get Kane, go get actual proven stars. You have the money for it. They probably won't. They maybe do one, maybe. Right? So what we have to realistically hope is that they don't mess with these young kids and ruin their paths to being future good players like Komoto, Camarda, specifically, right? You don't want another Liberali situation. I hope for that. And then I hope that they just get guaranteed, it should be for me, that are realistic, right? Mario Gila should be a Milan player. This shouldn't be difficult. If he wants to come and you can't go past 25 million, go F yourselves. Okay, I don't care if there's 1 year left. Play the game or don't. Yeah. It should easily be another midfielder. If they wanted to get somebody just for more depth, I'd sell off Loftus-Cheek. I'd buy another center back outside of Gila too. Thiago Gabriel, that defender. I like him.
Lecce, right?
Lecce, but
right?
It's not Lecce or one of the.
I think it's Lecce.
Either way, strong. Liked him. Thought he's done well.
A fullback for sure.
Any fullback, left or right. Sounds like Spinazzola's a name on the list.
Nah.
I respect him, but it's whatever. That's also a quota thing too for Italian players.
Sure.
Striker should be an aggressive purchase. Now, I think there is risk with Lewandowski, but I think if Jimenez, Fulkrug, and Nkunku are all gone, you have to use that money wisely. There's a couple paths that you can go down. Moise Kean, I see things that in him to them, but I also see them being hesitant because of injury issues, and he's inconsistent scoring. He's had some really great years and some other years like this year where it's not so great. Dysfunctional situation.
Yeah.
Is it a Tresoldi type? Do they go back to Club Brugge again, where they want to okay, this guy is semi-established, but can we make him explode? I think that might be the type of striker that they want to sign, who's a guy one step away from being worth 70 million.
Yeah. Let's get him what we can.
I think it would be like a Santiago Castro type, but those guys are going for like 30, 40 million now.
Yeah.
So you see like the Andre Kostic of like the Lacetic types are like, okay, we got a Balkan teenager, throw him into the Primavera or youth systems. Let's see if he's like Vlahovic or Holland or something. And it's just like, okay, you're playing lotto tickets and that adds up to millions and millions, but whatever. Yeah, man, it's just got to be aggressive veteran signings mixed, sprinkled in with one or two Athakame Odogu types. You can't send around where it's like Athakame Odogu, like a Stupinian, where now you're nearly 30 million for those players. And how good did they do? Nothing. And then it's 40 million for Yashari. So then it's 70 million. Then.
Plus 25
and then
Ricci, yeah.
And you're 95 million. And you're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
95 million for basically limited contributions, not an established starter.
Yeah.
Or consistent enough. So they have to get rid of dead weight players that are not good enough. They have to be on the same page. Like I just don't. I'm not convinced of that because the CEO is an idiot. Straight up, he's an idiot. He doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah, I know.
And it's not even an insulting thing. I hear nice things about him as a man. I don't give a shit. Like I'm nice. If I suck at my job, fire me. Get rid of me then. If I'm not good enough, I understand. It's from what I know, he's at least there till 2028. So sorry for not clear answer, but that's Milan these days, right?
No, for sure. But even you said the sprinkle of youth there. I had seen, and again, we don't know, but I would like to see Komoto get minutes. I would like to see Camarda get minutes. Are those sprinkles that you would? Because I again, we don't have a fucking 10, Martino. Like, how aggravating, how sad is that? Yeah. We don't have a 10. We don't have a creative player. The striker position. I agree with what you're saying.
They're too cheap to play with the big boys, but then they're not willing to take so much risk on like other play. Like they can't make up their minds. They rather go like 5 million and cheap instead of just like you could solve your problems by paying 50 million, for example, upfront for one player, but instead they get scared off by the 50 million in the big contract. So they're like, oh, that's a financial risk. But then this is why they're financial idiots, because they'll go around and then they had 100 million on the players that we all just named and they're all flops. And that costs a lot of money too. So Rabiot cost almost next to nothing. Proven player, sure, higher salary. Same for Modric. Guaranteed known winners in, no problem. What do we do here? Because if you whiff on, Santi Jimenez, like we just did, 35 million on him. Morata, 10 million plus like 6 million in his contract and wages. How much does that cost?
Yeah.
Right? That's a lot of money. You're
in the long run,
how much it costs for the one player.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not saying all eggs in one basket, but I'm like, can we put like the majority of them in one? Like, why can't we get this proven? Like, there's a foundation in a way. If you're able to get one or two, this is what the team after the semifinal needed. But like, that's what you should have done. If you're shored up with a lot of the positions, then you're fine. But now what do we need? Fullbacks. We need center backs. We need a striker. Yeah. We need more midfielders because the other guy's 40 still. Like, bro. I mean, Loftus-Cheek should be sold. And to answer the question, sorry, Camarda's. I think he should go play. Being at Milan, it's
away from Milan. You're saying
away from Milan on loan at a better club, more fluid, modern style. So like Atalanta, Sassuolo, Fiorentina potentially, because Abate might be the Sassuolo manager that's been rumored, and then Grosso goes to Fiorentina, where Paratici wants Camarda. But just go to a club that's not Lecce. Like the idea of Lecce was so stupid to me, it bothered me greatly because that's not a place to develop strikers. It's never been. I don't care about Kristovic. So for me, that's what he has to do. Komoto, on the other hand, with his age, I think personally that makes the most sense that he gets plenty of minutes and not too many minutes for his age, whereas Camarda, I think, really is that talented that needs to be playing with a team. Komoto should be taking all of RLC's minutes, Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Loftus-Cheek has over like 1,000 minutes in the league. Not too crazy cameo-wise. If Komoto is physically like okay for Serie A, tell me why it's a negative to play that kid 1,000 minutes. Now, the only counter that some people will have is like, oh, he should be playing nearly double amount those minutes with a Serie A team or being a clear backup or potentially a starter. But I'm just like, why can't he be a 5th or 6th choice midfielder That's just as good of a development at a top club than not. Like for me,
like
if he's that good, the 6th choice option is fine. But if you loan to Serie A, like I think they've handled him well.
Well, right now he's in Serie B, right? So like that's right?
Yeah. And I've seen moments and pockets of games, and I talk and know other people that like kind of view the league, right?
Sure.
They're like, Komoto's awesome. Like every single person will say it, right? They'll be honest with you. You could tell that because we've had other players on loan. They're like, this guy's okay. This guy's okay. It's just there's a lot to kind of rock with, and take a leap of faith, right? Because the Bartesaghi thing, I'll end it with this. I said to keep Bartesaghi. I did not expect like the highs that he had this year, which is a great lesson because no one knows until you play the guy. Listen, Barca knows how talented Lamine Yamal was, right? Mm-hmm. Does anyone here actually think that they knew he'd be that? No, maybe. But you don't know for sure unless you play the guy.
But not only that, you also know how to invest in the academy to prep that player.
Doesn't it save a lot of money, right? Like,
yeah.
And
like you build the players for your club, for your system. You don't use like Messi wasn't like a crazy like youth signing like
right.
They basically signed him.
Pep shaped that system. He changed up the entire La Masia when he was hired. That's where they got him from. Was over there. So that's where he developed Messi, and then they knew where to put him. Like Barca's system is staying true stylistically for the most part. It's just the lines change where like Hansi Flick is like an idiot and he's playing the suicide line. Whereas like, like it could fluctuate over time. Like Milan, dude, it's literally if you go through the list of like professional players like exported, Milan and Juve actually do a very fine job. Like there are plenty of like professional players out there. Like Milan have like respectable Serie A players like Pobega, Colombo, like those are fine players. They're not awful. Yeah. Calabria is fine. They produce one of the best goalkeepers in the world. Bartesaghi looks to be a player. There's been other guys that we've also like let go of that we could have kept that are of quality. Who is the guy who went to Wolves for like a ton of money, was in Milan's youth system like 10 years ago. Not even Cutrone, like Soroloth. There was another Soroloth or something like that. It was a Scandinavian player. But that's the point though. Like it's just about integration and finding the right system for that, because it is difficult in Italy where I think there's a lot of issues corruption-wise. I think we all know that.
Yeah, 100%.
It's so easy to take advantage.
Might be a perfect segue.
Oh, go for it if you want to do that.
No, but like finish your point.
The finer point is like I think clubs would be welcomed and happy to take on and loan and play really talented youth players that come from Milan, Juve, wherever. Yeah. However, they want to get promoted. There is an ecosystem here that winning gives you money, and there's risk with young players that if you miss out on that objective, the consequences are far greater than you using a player, because that's how broke Italy is, right? Mm-hmm. So like Milan don't want to trust that. For example, like their ideology is, well, we can't play youth players like this because if we do that, then we miss the Champions League. We miss the Champions League, we lose money. We don't get that income that is necessary for us. Because again, how many times we have to see this statistic? Serie A winner gets less money than the newly promoted Premier League team. Yeah. What else do you need to know? So like it's all hands on deck to get results, to get into the top four. Maybe you can get something sustainable over time, but there's like so much financial risk for it. But that's why I say Komoto is not really how much better is Ruben Loftus-Cheek than Christian Komoto at this point? Truly. I guarantee, because one, Loftus-Cheek can't even stay healthy. Two, he's inconsistent in that position. I don't think he's good enough for Serie A. It's just not that type of player. He's a great athlete, but that's it.
He had his stint, but I think it's over.
It's just he's technically limited. We know that. He's like a box to box. Like he can only go downhill, and that's it. He's got one mode.
One gear.
Komoto, like bro, like I see, like this guy has something.
He's talented.
Like, who's to say like this kid can't be a stud almost immediately? Like how do we know for sure? And again, loan him out in January then, if that's the case. Worst case, he's 6 months with Futuro, who's likely to go back to Serie A, and you get game time. You're with the professional team. There's still value in that for a couple months, right? Like to say like 100, 200 minutes over like 4 or 5 months with the Serie A side is more valuable than like, 70 minutes with Milan and then like training with them all the time. Like it's not, I'm sorry, that's not that big of a difference in my opinion. So I hope they give him a chance. I don't think there's many other players. Torriani, I don't know, that kid might leave. They're already losing their top youth goalkeeper Longoni to who do you call it? Manchester City. But again, why would you blame a kid like that? You go to the top academy. It's just, it's your pathway is more reliable to make you a professional as opposed to what Milan do, where they're very hit or miss. So, yeah, I mean, the corruption, right? Segue, you need that?
Corruption, controversy, scandal. Johnny, I don't know if you want to lay it out there, but
well, there's two that we basically can touch upon. There's
sure
the reffing or the prostitution ring. I don't know.
Fucking let's put them both out there because everybody already knows about him.
Yeah, so essentially, for those of you that have been living under a SerieA rock, Rocky, there was a big controversy that came out recently. I'm paraphrasing as much as I can, so I apologize, but big controversy that for the refs, Rocky, the man in charge of selecting of ref selection for certain games, was choosing refs that were more historically favorable to Inter for the Inter matches in comparison to just actually evenly splitting out. Now, recent reports are saying that Inter was not involved with this situation. They're just a beneficiary of the situation, but obviously, who knows, right? It remains that's still under investigation. And then the second thing that was really huge that we're all like laughing about, but like also like it's not SerieA without like
what the fuck?
A massive prostitution ring involving about 60 to 70 like SerieA players. Some that are currently playing in the league, some of them that were not playing in the league. Basically, I guess guys just, like, oh, if you're ever bored, here's somebody's number, you can have some fun type of deal, so which apparently from what I saw, I think it's something like sex work or something like that is not illegal in Italy or something like that. Like the ladies of the night, let's say, for lack of better term. Sugo putanesca. No, I'm just kidding. Apparently it's not illegal. It's still scandalous because of what it entails. But
the Vlahovic video of getting out of
the checking the camera.
Yeah, it's always Vlahovic, right? Like like the club video where he's wearing the.
I mean, yeah, everybody still champagnes and laughs about Maradona. So I mean, what's the difference at this point, right?
Yeah, bro.
I don't know which. I mean, listen, the escort thing is like that is what it is. If it's not illegal, like I don't know, leagues have policies. Like, I'm staying away from that one.
It's like now everywhere you turn, it's like, oh, this player was involved, that player was involved, this like Leao, you see
Leao had to like the lead and like
it's like, what do we believe? Like
the fact that he has to answer it. I mean, it's just they're very good at the gossip over there. That's the only form of like shit that you see in newspapers. They're honestly up there with one of the worst journalistic countries that exist or that like have establishments that are supposed to be journalistic. They are the shittiest journalists, led by the most popular football journalist in the world. They're jokes. They don't know what they're doing. They're there to create and stir drama. Half of it's like unfactual. They're just tossing names out there and saying like, so this name is on it. It's not like, oh, this was just a name. Not that like this person purchased so and so, like it's just it's embarrassing, and these people have families too. Like you get that wrong, you're incorrect or inaccurate. Like God,
that affects,
Johnny's good old Mike Vrabel and that like you see what it does. It tears. No, it's true though. Like it tears families apart. That's accurate reporting, but it's still like stuff out there that is very public, and that's not probably the best of stuff. As far as the controversy, like where there's smoke there's fire, right? Like this refereeing thing, people saw Inter's name linked with it because those were two of the three matches that were mentioned. There was the Coppa Italia against Milan, and then the Bologna one, and then I know Inter Roma was another that popped up, Udinese Parma, which is like a little similar to what the issue was with Calciopoli, right? Talking about referee
20 years ago.
put it this way, right? I think blaming and accusing Inter immediately was stupid, and anyone who could read would understand that. And I'm not just doing my meme, but like seriously, like it just, they were never that. Was I hoping for it? That's a different question. Now,
for sure.
Now, like for me, this proved everything that I like had thought for years now, and because I watch every game, there's shit for everybody, guys. Like, this is not exclusive to your club. And I'm speaking to everyone here.
Yeah,
we root for clubs that get calls and have calls go against them. Mm-hmm. And we knew there was something fishy on a level of like the incompetency of it, or like, why is VAR not doing this or VAR not doing that? And there was like a quote for one of the things from one of the VAR incidents that wasn't reviewable. I believe it was an Inter Roma, correct me if I'm wrong, where they were saying, mind your own business when talking about VAR, like VAR people together in terms of looking at a call. And it's like, the fuck you mean my own business? Like, this is my job. This is my business.
Exactly.
What are we talking about? And for somebody to step back from their position, I think it's correlated, because this is like, right, there's a way that it's supposed to work journalistically, and there's the way that we all know how Italians work and how they push out shit. They knew about this. This has been known for a while. This did not come out of nowhere. What's very important coming up regarding this football federation? The elections, okay? Yeah. More controversy, more issues under this current regime will further prove that they are too incompetent and that it's a problem on all levels. That only helps the newer opposition. This doesn't help Gravina. It doesn't help Abete, who are these older names. It's going to help out Malago, right? So, who I believe is just going to win this at this point. It's just, there's 3 World Cups. It's done. It's cooked. They're probably looking at like whoever else. I think it's clear there's a revolution there. If it stays the same, there might be riots. Not even kidding.
I agree. Well, they already did. They already started egging the federation.
It's gonna
be worse.
Yeah, exactly. It's literally gonna get that much worse, and it should. Don't harm anybody. But
no, but
pressure on people.
Yes.
It comes down to this. Everybody loses. Nobody wins in this. I don't see how we can go up to other people in Canada and the US and try and get them into Serie A when all they know on a global scale or broader picture is that we're the scandal league, or we're the league that always has these issues that are shooting themselves in the foot, ruining their own credibility, being antiquated with style. There are so many things, a laundry list of what is wrong. And this is just like, unfortunately, a symptom. This isn't even like close to probably the biggest issue, because there's puppet masters above all this, pulling all the strings. This is, if you know how that country is, and I know you guys know this, that it is rotten to its core. Rotten. Mm-hmm. You cannot do anything within logic over there without somebody arguing it. And it could be the most logical thing possible. Yeah. They'll be like, wait, actually, I want to get my beak wet. Meaning, I want money. I want something out of this. What can I gain from this that you want? That would probably help millions of people, thousands of people, would help them with no problem. But what good does it for me? And that's their problem. It's society's problem. But it's deeply rooted in everything systemically in Italy. And the bureaucracy there is a effing nightmare. It's just like, right, like San Siro, this should be a simple process. Regardless if you want to knock down or not, a new stadium should have been done. Same thing can happen for Napoli and Roma and the Roma clubs. This shouldn't be a problem. We shouldn't have to have so many hurdles where UEFA are sitting there threatening 2032.
Yeah.
They are. That's legitimate.
It's a real thing.
They will take it from you. The sale was fine, and then this sale isn't fine. And my problem is when the whatever Maloney's political party is escaping my mind at the moment.
There's like 20 million of them, so it's, I don't blame you.
Whatever the old Italian party, whatever that.
We'll look it up.
Yeah,
she's a beast, though. But anyways,
but like they go in, right. We see the latest San Siro story, and this is like, this relates to everything.
Fratelli d'Italia party. Sorry for interrupting. That's
no. It's literally it. So they come in, right, and they're saying, "Oh, well, you know, there's corruption here. We're kind of worried about it." And sorry, what the fuck were you the past 15, 20 years or decades? Where
Yeah.
have you been? You sniff out corruption when the city, aka the country, is going to lose a huge asset that was making them money, which is San Siro. San Siro brings in revenue for them. That's why they were reluctant to sell it, but only selling at the time that Salah deemed okay because UEFA was threatening. And that's hurtful to the local economy in Milan because you're not getting the type of tourism in there for a major tournament. You know, that hurts. Like you shouldn't be losing that. It's a major city, historically great for the sport. We don't need to go through that. But why are there so many hurdles? And why do you pick corruption at the time that it fits you? Corruption should be fought when the large group and society of Italians is having negativity. The three of us don't exist if there isn't that level of those issues in that country. Our families probably don't live. We probably don't exist to an extent, right?
For sure.
The likelihood of it, not to get dark like that,
No,
but it's
but
the
for real.
reality.
Yeah.
Italian Americans, Italian Canadians exist because Italy was a disaster. And there's still more and more people coming here because it's that much of a disaster. And things are not getting
I know
fixed.
plenty. I hang out
Yeah.
with a group of like 50.
We are.
You know,
how many of my mother is from there? It's recent. This isn't.
Yeah.
This isn't like something like
Adrian's
First or
dad's
second
from
generation.
there.
Yeah.
Adrian's dad's from there. My dad is from that.
right. See, like we're all still whatever you want to call it, 1.5 generation.
1.5.
We're,
Yeah.
we're like right there. We're right there. Like it's not
You're
far
right.
removed. My family was too poor to live in Calabria, and they moved to Rome, and Rome was too poor, and then they moved here.
Mm-hmm.
What? This is the problem. Like it's not the foundation in that country is so broken, just as the country is, right? To get a football system to be fixed is like not even near there, and the corruption that you get away with it, like agents, and there's no like unions for players and protecting these youth kids, and hey, I'm telling you something, you have to, like, we see all those like stories of like agents screwing over young musicians in the industry. You think that doesn't happen in football? There's no regulation. There's none. How many agents come up? Joshua Zirkzee doesn't come to Milan. Kia Juberin, or whatever his name was, I want 10 million euro.
Yeah.
What's stopping him from asking more?
Yeah.
What's stopping an agent that's representing a very talented kid that sells dreams to the parents and lies and says, let me represent your son. I can get him and put him in a good position for his career. Except he lies about the finances. And then he puts kids in positions that are poor for their career in the long term and the short term. And then they're left in the dust with a career that's done for, that they financially can't be stable with because you don't get paid enough. And it's a poor country and situation to live in. When all that stuff happens, the youth gets corrupted. You can't properly develop people because it's a tug of war. There's people behind the scenes that are. How many crazy owners do we have over there? Why there's so many rules? Like Claudio Lotito is like a tiny piece of what is many shitty people in charge of what they're doing, and that is the problem. Is that we're sitting here waiting for simple things to change when the most important things are not changing, and that's everyone in charge. If that doesn't change, then there is no hope for the league. Like the UK is, like, all things considered, a fairly well-run country that, in the 90s, they're like, okay, we can come together with a cohesive plan to relaunch the Premier League and make us long and sustainable to the point where they got today. Italy, they missed 3 World Cups, and they're still debating whether they should do the basic things. And that shouldn't be a debate. That should just be a no-brainer. And it's not going to be a no-brainer because they don't give a shit, because they only care about themselves. And that's the problem with Italian football. We could argue about this, ref and the designators being corrupt. He's corrupt. The guy who hired him is corrupt. The guy who's telling him what to. We also don't even know who told him to do this shit. Did he act on his own?
Yeah.
Who's telling him this? Is that going to be revealed? Are they just going to go hush him up and go away because it's part of a bigger thing? It's everywhere. The problem is we're too aware of it now than we've ever been. So it's a disaster. I only think this becomes a negative for the league. I don't see Napoli like giving up like their Scudetto or like something that like people were like theorizing, you know, like being silly that Inter get another title like that. There's going to be just like heavy penalties, and I think it's going to lead towards a regime change in the Italian Football Federation. And all you have to do at this point, if you're an Azzurri fan or just a Calcio fan, is cross your fingers. And that's it. You hope that they're the most competent of the corrupt.
Yeah, no, I also see, Martino, I don't know if maybe you know more. I was listening a bit to it and hearing about it, but if the federation goes under the government's power, the consequences.
Right. You're saying like the government controls.
Yeah, exactly. Like it would obviously penalize Italian clubs, for their participation in Europe in the following seasons. Again, that's just another negative.
That was a Chefrin threat, supposedly.
Yeah, right? Exactly. Any thoughts on that? Like, just like,
I read
put us more back than we already are?
Yeah, so like I read it. I don't see how they further jeopardize them. So like put it this way, like I don't know how the elections are going over there. I think that like Maloney, from what I gather, is largely unfavorable outside of her base. And with that, like everything that they do is going to be unfavorable. I'm not trying to draw parallels to this administration over here, which I have never been a fan of, is that, if you're in treacherous waters and you're doing, and like your base is like turning on you slowly, kind of in a way, like the average person in the country, not like your hardcore, like idiots, they are going to get upset, right? Like gas prices go up. If you ruin Italian football further, they're going to freak the out. Like just what Johnny was saying, like they're already doing protests. It is going to get worse for you. If you get the Euros taken away, you prevent stadiums from being built, you become it bigger and like, dude, they literally would invent a way to be more embarrassing to miss 3 World Cups. What's more embarrassing than missing 3 World Cups? Having an entire tournament taken away from you. That's never happened to the United States. Hasn't happened to Qatar. All these other places. If that happens to Italian football, holy shit. Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
They are going to be just like so embarrassed. It's like one of the most unrecoverable things that I've seen. Probably is. It's a bit dramatic, but you don't come back from that. I don't think they're going to do it. But would I put it past anything that?
Yeah, it wouldn't shock. Yeah, of course.
Right. Like that's the thing. Like logically, you're like, all right, at this point, you can't be doing this. But yeah, like but also like shitty of UEFA. Like why are we punishing the innocent party here? Their FFP system is stupid. You can't pay? Fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like your bank. It's like the bank says I'm out of money and they're charging me a fee for $500. Brother, I couldn't pay you before that. What's that going to do?
What makes you think I could pay you now?
Milan. Oh, you're out of Europe. Oh, how do you make your income? Well, we have to be in Europe. Oh, too bad.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. I hate them.
Yeah.
It's stupid. It's stupid. I don't think they'll take over though. I think they'll get the elections in, and it'll probably be in Malaga. And I see Sierra keep on retweeting and saying things about Maldini. I will just say this about that, and Adriano, you know this, is that if someone like Maldini is willing to listen and be a part of that, I would give it a chance, just because he very rarely jumps at opportunities unless he gets the guarantees that he wants.
There's something there if he's jumping on board.
Now, again, I'm hoping it's not like 16 years ago with the Baggio files, where Baggio is working with the federation, and then they say, "Oh, wow, that's great, good work, 10,000 pages, go fuck yourself, get out the door." Right? I just don't want that to happen.
Of course,
I guess is a possibility. But
yeah, well, fuck, if history says anything, you don't ever know.
It's all hope, everybody who's listening. There's not much concrete positive news out there, so I apologize.
No, but listen, Martino, again, I think if we continue on this topic, I feel like we can be here all night.
I know.
We opened the show with saying that it was a snooze fest, definitely not one tonight. Milan-Juve was a snooze fest, but tonight's episode I think was had a lot of topics in it. So Martino, we thank you for your time as always. You've been a guest on the show, quite a few times now, and we appreciate every time you have for us. So just for anybody, before we wrap it up on our end, where people can find you, your content, and anything else you want to plug, my friend.
Yeah, so thank you guys for having me again. I gotta get you guys on. I am the worst at this. Like, dude, I am so I like it genuinely. I do mean that. I'm just really bad at it. Like,
Oh, good. Well, we're gonna have to forge your
forget.
DMs.
Well, yeah, no.
No,
Honestly,
I'm busting your shot,
honestly,
bro.
you probably should, and that's not
Busty.
for everyone else. That's for these two. They could do that. But yeah, no, I appreciate it. Martino Puccio everywhere. Martino Puccio on Twitter, Pocch. Yeah, I appreciate it. Sucks that we can't watch our Azzurri in the World Cup this summer. Would have been fun. Maybe would have gone up to Canada. I do plan on going probably next season up by you guys. It's one of the places that I definitely want to go and visit and watch with our boys at Montreal. You guys are great. Always pushing out content and being so kind, and you guys get great guests on, and you know, Johnny learns things that he never did before prior to the stream. Him and his two teams. No, I always appreciate it. Nick looks great too. I'm sorry I couldn't see him. I think it's the second straight time I couldn't. I think he's avoiding me, but
yeah, classic Juventino.
Yeah, right. Ducking and hiding. No, he's great. He's great. He looks great too. It's honestly great shape. Just happy for him. But yeah, again, if anyone likes Milan content, go ahead and check that out over there. We're doing a little bit more on the broader football side of things, me and Sant'Angelo, as we ramp up for the World Cup. So we're doing more content on that side of things. You could just go and check that out over there. Not much else. I just want this season over with, fellas. But it's always a lot of fun, and hopefully brighter days ahead. We could finally watch a World Cup match. Best of luck to you boys north of the border this summer.
Best of luck of you to the south of the border.
I mean, listen, I'm not really. There's no emotional attachment.
Oh, same. Yeah, honestly speaking,
really interesting. Not even like a good one. What can I ask? Why? Like, I know we're like.
It's because it's very obvious. Like, we grew up. If I may, AG, it's because we grew up like always supporting Italy. Like, we're never really like cool. Canada was always a secondary thought for us. There was more pride for hockey because Canada was more present for hockey than it was for soccer. For us, what was more present for us? Yeah, and like even like basketball, cool. Like, we'll support Canada, you know, but not like it's not even a crazy thing for the Olympics for us either. It's mostly like that's why like one of our big issues this year was like if like these Canadian football accounts were coming out of nowhere saying like, oh, it's obviously because it's just the Italians. It's just the Italians, right? Canada's got a massive
Canada's got a lot of like USA 1930s vibes with the
God
stuff. It's pretty crazy.
So bad. It's like
they think I'm Canadian sometimes. I think it was like Sid Sixiero's like video that I like mocked.
Oh my god, yeah.
The Maple Leafs video, which is so stupid. It doesn't matter if they make it or not. Like, he doesn't understand his own point because he's an idiot. But
but he's always been an idiot. That guy. He's been fired twice of his shows.
Hard to get fired from TV. I'll be honest with you. It's hard. But it's I mean, like, interesting. I like U.S. soccer. It's the system that I don't like. The players are like, okay, they were easier to root for when I was younger. I do like still watch everything. I'm invested. But no one makes me feel ashamed for rooting for Italy. I do it. I split it well. Just like you do the crazier split. If you do Roma Napoli, I don't know how you
on the club level. It's crazy.
It's because like one has like a childhood attachment and one is a family attachment. So for me, it's like I equate them both because it's.
Freud would love you.
Yeah, I know. Without the mother issues, I love my mom.
Good.
But it's just that for me, it's like I cannot. I see it's both are different parts of me.
They probably push you away more when they say the shit that they say. It doesn't feel like it's welcoming. With USA, sometimes you get those idiots who are just like, "Why are you rooting for that country?" It's like, well, okay. You came here in the 1800s. My family got here in the 1970s. Like, why? But that's for me. Exactly. Like, and you know, like we grew up with it, and you didn't give a shit about it.
Yeah.
Now you give a shit about it, and now you want me to care the way you want me to, not the way that I feel, which is like a huge thing with the Americas, anyways. But like, yeah.
But to finish on my point, it's more like that, and it's like I said, Canada's got a massive Portuguese population, but nobody gives flack to the Portuguese Canadians that support Portugal. And this is not an attack on them. I'm just saying like that, like
double standard.
Yeah, like Sid Seixeiro over there is Portuguese Canadian.
Facts.
You know what I mean? And he's trashing on Italians because Portugal only won 1 Euro Cup in their entire lifetime. Ever.
Major tournament.
And then he made, like, I'm not counting the Nations League as a major trophy. Nobody gives a shit. You know, like there's like with the Greek Canadians, that when Greece won the Euros in 2004, you know, like everyone celebrated, everyone was happy, but nobody batted an eye, you know. But like when it comes to somebody who says I'm Italian dash something, whether it's Canadian or American, the first thing you see in the comments is like 20th generation Italian, or like you see comments like "fuck you, you're Canadian, what are you going for Italy for?" and stuff like that. It's like, buddy, like
I found this stupid. I think Canadian men's soccer trolling.
Oh, that was horrible.
Canadians men's soccer account trolling.
Marsh.
It
turned me off.
That bothered me only because that's the main Canadian.
Yeah,
I'm doing it. If it was like a stupid fan account, whatever, like it's trolling. But like you're an actual federation taking a shot at another federation, when, with all due respect to Canadian soccer, have won fuck all.
Yeah. One gold cup in the year in 2000. One gold cup in 2000.
And I respect the players. I think it's a good team. It's an American coach, yo. That's not a good thing.
No,
it's not a good thing.
Marsh, baby, Marsh.
He's great though. I love Marsh. Good hire. I'm actually happy he took the job.
Well, because U.S. development has been significantly better than Canadian soccer development, and then only recently Canada has been starting to try to catch up or improving theirs. But like Adrian and I, for example, we went to go see the FC Supra reveal a couple of Nicholas was there too a few weeks back. To our left were Italian Canadians, by the way, but like guys who played for Team Canada, Mauro Biello and Nick DeSantis, you know, like these are guys that also helped played or coached the team. And it's like, you know, like Italian Canadians have contributed to the success of Canada, or, you know, any type of success. I think the goalie, when they qualified in 86, was another Italian Canadian for the Canadian national team. I'm going to fact check myself really quick. Team Canada, 1986. But nonetheless, no, that's the World Cup. I want soccer. My bad, soccer. But anyways, nonetheless, like it just, you have to spit. Yeah, here we go. Okay, first of all, let's see here. Tino Lettieri, goalkeeper, defender. Bob Leonardo.
Wait. What was his full name?
Don't know.
Sabatino? I'm curious.
I'm gonna double tick. I'm gonna get Control C, Control V.
Probably Sabatino. Sorry, I'm just curious. There's never really any Martinos.
No, he's Martino.
Hey,
he's a Martino.
Look at that.
Thank God we had this conversation on record here, so we got that.
Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah, you got Bob.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. Bob Leonardo, defender. Pasquale Di Luca, midfielder. It's like there were Italian Canadians.
It took an Italian.
I'm just saying, to spit on, even if it's tongue in cheek, it's so off-putting. It's like we were so hyped when Canada qualified and they earned it back in 2022. You know, like we were excited about that. We enjoyed that so much. And now it's like, okay, the spot's not merited in 2026 because you're the host country, right? But nonetheless, you still should take it seriously. But then you see stuff like that, and it's like, I don't even feel like cheering for Canada in the 06 in this World Cup anymore. It's just, I'll be real. Like, if they lose, I'm probably gonna laugh. Like, I'm not gonna even be pissed off, and I'll let people troll, and I'm like, I'm not gonna even defend it.
Yeah.
I only want you to lose one game, and that's against I would the Bosnian one. I would love it because the Canadians just won World Cup, but because Italy lost to them.
Yeah,
they think like Bosnia is like a cakewalk.
Yeah,
Bosnia is better than Canada. Like, I hate the break.
No, it's true.
Like, it's
any European nation's better than
Canada. It's why I don't like, I find Americans annoying too, because there's something in the Americas where, because I know Canadians and hell yeah, Americans are too. There's a lot of arrogance when it comes to sports. There's a lot of arrogance. And it's why you see them slip up the way that they slip up, because they think that they're so much better than they are. Canada has a much better system in place in the long term, because you guys don't charge $50 billion to the average person to even play. Like, travel soccer used to be like $10,000 at least when I was like a kid. So I'm pretty sure that's only gotten worse or more expensive. It's not accessible like some would think. So that's like kind of the other issue too, is like culturally, you're not allowing everybody to play. If you're not doing that, then you're not inclusive. You're not going to be the best versions of yourself. That's why, the best players are dual nats, half the time. Also, by the way, final thing, 5'8" goalkeeper. That's the most Italian. 5'8". That's incredible. From body too.
He fits the bill, man. He fits the bill.
Body.
But
Yes,
no, guys, anybody that's tuning in, that's still listening, again, thank you. We did ramble on quite a bit, especially at the end of the episode, which we're sorry for, but at the same time, we love it. Guys, like Martino said, probably 10 minutes ago now, follow him on all socials at Martino Puccio and That Milan Podcast. Again, great work that they do, guys. We say it all the time here. The content might be good, but the people behind it is just something else. So listen, go follow them, even if you're not a Milan fan. Like I can't stand when like other fans don't support other people just because of the club they support.
Bro,
go follow these guys. They do good work.
Like for example, like Lex is probably the nicest person I've ever come across. Like she's like Miranda Cosgrove, like she won't curse type of person. You know what I mean? That's a Juve fan though. They're nice, like chill. Like Sharma's great for Inter, like nicest guy. Like Biagio's one of my favorite.
Bro, Biagio.
I know because I know you guys know him. I have been following him forever. Like this is what I do, bro. It's Lazio. I couldn't give two shits, and I love it.
Yeah, he's a good kid. He's a good kid.
He's great. So I think it's always important to do that. Because in a roundabout way, it does help SerieA just a little bit.
Absolutely.
So, this didn't exist, like even at this level, community-wise, like 5 years ago. So it's growing a lot. So it's nice. It's always fun.
Totally agree. So, guys, go do that. For us, like we say every week, follow us at The Calcio Guys on all social media platforms for our audio version of the podcast. Anywhere you can find your podcast, you can find The Calcio Guys. So, rate with 5 stars, leave a comment there. And for all video content of the pod, subscribe on YouTube, turn the post notifications on, like, subscribe, comment, share, all that good stuff, guys. We appreciate all the love and support. And we'll be back next week to talk all more Calcio. Thanks for listening. Ciao.
Bye.